Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we have a Toronto Raptors video. I promised you guys a part 2 once the video hit 150 likes. I think it hit 125. That is good enough. We went through OG, Fred, and Pascal, and then today we're going to just go through the rest of the roster now that we're back here in Chicago. So if you guys enjoy this video, you like Raptors content, you like daily NBA content as well, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's try and aim for 100 likes on today's video. And as always, hit that subscribe button. We're 25 subscribers away from 9,000, so I can't wait. First up, we have Tran Jr. And Tran Jr. has been definitely one of the more exciting pieces on the Raptors so far this season. So in 20 games, 19 starts, 17.3 points per game, 3 rebounds, about 2 assists, 2 steals, shooting about 43% from the field and about 37% from downtown. Now, you know going into it that Tran Jr., he has a tendency to be a streaky shooter. So some nights Trent will go, 3 of 11 and it just won't be his night. But here's the thing, even on those nights where he'll go like 3 of 11 or let's say like 5 of 16, something like that, he usually scores and shows up when it matters most, not only on the offensive end, but defensively. That's definitely really been kind of one of the brighter spots about Trent this season. We were talking about a breakout year all off season, and defensively, he is definitely taking that leap. He's literally averaging 2.1 steals per game, and he was averaging 2.5 for pretty much the first 15 or so games. So even if Gary's having one of those off shooting nights, not only does he show up in the fourth quarter when it matters offensively, despite how he's been playing, like if he's been ice cold, he'll still make a bucket when it matters, or he'll still make the play that matters. And then most importantly, he's playing really good defense. He's got very active hands. He's got very quick feet. He's making sure it's not easy to score on him, just like all the Toronto Raptors. So next up, we got Scottie Barnes. I saw a stat today just on Twitter. I can't remember which Twitter account it was. I apologize, but it was like 200. It was like first. It was points scored through how many games is it? 18. Donovan Mitchell 241. Scottie Barnes 241. Maybe it wasn't exactly 241. Maybe it was like 261 or whatever. But so many people were saying Scottie Barnes was not going to be able to score. I was one of the guys who was not anticipating this good of offensive production this quickly. I was thinking maybe more of a start like Patrick Williams where, yeah, he'll have some bursts here and there, but mainly there for the defense and everything else he does. Scottie's much better passer as well, but I mean, dude, it is unreal. Like, he is literally number 1 in Rookie of the Year. Maybe Evan Mobley's return might change that a little bit soon, but through 18 games, Scottie Barnes, 15 points, 8.3 rebounds, man. 3.5 assists per game, 1 steal, and about 0.6 from just the blocks. And then shooting the ball 49% and 26% from downtown. I think we were all kind of the assumption that he was going to struggle from downtown probably all season, probably for at least a year at the very least. But, dude, 15 points per game, that is more than even like your optimistic Scottie Barnes fan. I don't think that they were expecting 15 points through 18 games. Like, this is just such good production. Then you throw in the 8 rebounds per game, you throw in 3.5 assists. We've seen it and we knew it going into it about Scottie Barnes' passing ability, but once you're actually watching it, he's doing it for your team, like showcasing it every single night, every single quarter, every single possession. Whenever he has the ball and he makes a pass, it's like, ooh, this is an impressive kid. He is a very impressive kid. And at number 4, a lot of people, obviously, they wanted Jalen Suggs. Man, Masai, Bobby, they did a phenomenal job picking on, deciding to go with Scottie Barnes. So next up, Precious Achua, really on the Precious train right now because OG Anunoby's still out for injury. Precious, 17 games played, 13 starts, about 25 minutes per game, 8 points, 8 rebounds, assist and a half per game. Not getting a block, but he is shooting only 40% from the field and then 33% from downtown. So really the only issue I have with Precious is inconsistency, and he's definitely coming back. Started the season extremely efficient, lights out, offense, defense. He was doing everything, showcasing literally everything. And then little bit through the middle of the season, once Pascal came back, especially once Burch came back, he would just have those nights. He would just have those nights. 1 of 8, 2 of 9. Those types of nights. He'll still produce on defense, and he'll still get rebounds, and he'll still come out with energy, effort, enthusiasm. So he's like a guy you want playing no matter what he is shooting, just because of everything else he brings. But he did go through a little bit of a slump there, and that's what you got to expect. I mean, you literally got to expect that. He's in his second year. He only played like 8 minutes per game last year, 5 minutes per game last year. So he's coming into his own. He's more of that project player. Could be the Raptors' long-term solution at center, but there's plenty of time to develop him and wait to see. I love that he's taking more 3 balls this season as well, and yeah, he's just being a lot more consistent right now. So that brings us to Goron. I mean, there's not really much there. He's played 5 games. I don't even really want to discuss him. They'll trade him soon. They'll trade him eventually. Svi's averaging in 20 games, 18 minutes, 7 points. Same thing with him. He started off really, really useful for the Raptors, and then he kind of faded off a little bit in this losing streak, but he's picking it up. He's getting it going. Svi was one of those signings where it was almost like it makes so much sense because he's a vital 3-point shooter, and he can play defense. So really solid, just kind of 3-and-D type of player. But with Svi, sometimes I want to see him just be a little bit more aggressive. Sometimes you don't even really realize he's out on the court. Those nights where he'll score like 4 points, 5 points, only take like 3 shots to attempt, something like that. If he's got an open look, I want him taking that with confidence. Next up, we have Burch. Mr. Consistent, all reliable, Burch, 22 minutes per game. He's definitely dealt with some injuries, only 3 starts, but 7 points, 6 rebounds. You're not really going to get much statistically from Burch, especially if you're only averaging 23 minutes a game. But he's just Mr. Reliable. Mr. You can count on him. He's just a good center. He's a good center to have. Obviously, I still want the Raptors to get a 7-footer, at least a 7-footer. Like Moses Brown, I think's the guy. I really think Moses Brown's the guy. I think the Mavs, although Jalen Brunson has been playing phenomenal, I think that they'll still want some more guard depth. And I think that they'll go ahead and throw Moses Brown in that deal for Goron. But Burch, he's been definitely serviceable, and that's why they paid him money. That's why they paid him long-term contract, because they know, maybe he's not going to break out and be like the next Karl-Anthony Towns, but you can definitely count on him, especially in late-game situations. Chris Boucher, trade him. 14 minutes per game right now. He's playing horrible. 6 points, 4 rebounds. Let's take a look at these stats. 38 from the field, 20% from downtown. Oh, my goodness gracious. He's playing horrible this year. I can't believe there was a game where he went 38-19 last year. He was feasting. He was absolutely feasting last year. Maybe you don't trade him because what are you going to get? But he isn't really helping the Raptors right now, so maybe you hold on to him and hope that by the end of the season he's just way better than he is right now and he can kind of get back to his old self. The good news is, if you want to find a positive, is if he continues to play like this, he's going to be really cheap next year, and he'll probably want like a 1-year prove-it deal that'll be very cheap, and that the Raptors might decide to bring him back on, because you would think if he can play defense, if he can block shots, especially on the perimeter, and he can shoot the 3 and help stretch the floor, like, what's really the issue? But there's been issues this year. Delano Benton, this guy's a low-key absolute gem. He's only getting about 13 minutes per game right now. 5 points, 2 rebounds. Statistically, you won't really see too much because he's getting 13 minutes a game, but Delano Benton, they must be very, very impressed with him. And as the season goes on, I definitely expect to see his minutes increase as he continues to get better. Yuta Watanabe's finally back from injury. Malachi Flynn hasn't really been playing too much. Same thing with Champagnie. Bonga's played 4 games, hasn't really played much either for him. But altogether, you're 9-11. That was a tough loss the other day to, I want to say it was Pacers, right? Kept getting that mixed up in the last video, but this is a big game tonight. Like, big game tonight. 9-11. You got the Boston Celtics. Scottie Barnes is averaging about 23 points per game against the Boston Celtics in 2 matchups. So Toronto, I feel like they play really good basketball against Boston. They haven't been good at home, as crazy as that sounds, but hopefully they can fix that up tonight. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'll see you guys later.